We do want to take a moment to reflect on yesterday. It was March 1 year since the Oxford High School shooting. And for many of us, we thought about at different points of the day what we were doing and what the past year has been like, and especially you, Charlie. You were up there covering it a year ago yesterday, as was I, and you were covering it again yesterday. And boy, there was some beautiful moments of reflection, some difficult moments.
I'd say it was difficult. I go back to Monday. I got a chance to sit down and meet the parents of Tate Meir and Jill Suave was the mother. And it's very emotional, actually, I have to say.
Yeah.
Very nice people. What are you going to... And I got a chance to just talk to them, and they're feeling their life has totally changed. They would never, they want Ethan Crumbley to be prosecuted, go through it, but there's so many uncertainties in that whole situation. But yesterday, now going back there, having been there a year, although I've been there a couple times, but it was a different Oxford. It was just people wanted to reflect on their own. They didn't have a public display. Lots of banners and Oxford proud, that type of thing. There's a wall in the Washington Circle, I think they call it, where they have people draw things on stars and messages, and I mean it's very moving, to be honest with you. It really is. And so it was a kind of a tough day yesterday, to be honest. Yeah,
it's hard to know the right thing, and sometimes the right thing is different for everybody. How you want to, whether you go to some sort of church service or place of worship, or whether you just stay home, or whether you're at work and just saying a quiet prayer. There was candle, there was a luminarias that were really beautiful. So there is some legal action too on this front.
I tell you, this is so. Let's understand what happened now. So the parents are on trial for involuntary manslaughter. Okay, we know that. They've been bound over for trial, and the trial is set for January. However, the Michigan Supreme Court put a hold on the trial. It will not happen in January. The Michigan Supreme Court wants to know whether there is enough legal evidence to show that the parents caused the death of these 4 kids. That is a big issue. Now, what does it really mean? The Supreme Court is, I would have to say objectively, would be doubting whether or not the parents can be responsible for the death. Yes, they may have been bad parents. Yes, they may have bought the gun. Yes, they may not have checked the backpack. However, another person killed these 4 people. And that's the issue. And it is a technically legal issue. It's a novel case. In fact, the Court of Appeals, the second highest court before the Supreme Court, said, we don't really want to hear it. Go ahead and have a trial, and then we'll maybe deal with some legal issues. The Supreme Court said no. We want to know now whether these 2 should be on trial for manslaughter. If they're not on trial for child abuse or child neglect, they're different. They're not. The charge is manslaughter. And the very first thing in a jury instruction, did these parents kill or cause the death of the 4 students?
Is this the first time this happened in the country? I mean,
yes.
To charge the parents. Also, why not have multiple charges? Like, why not have child abuse or neglect or anything, endangerment, along with the manslaughter charge? It seems like a very specific route that the prosecutor's taking.
Yeah, they are, and they are very limiting it to just manslaughter. There's no lesser charge. It's just manslaughter or nothing. But the court, and so I don't know why they didn't bring the neglect or child abuse or any of those other charges.
But on your lawyer hat, if they were your clients, would you, if you were the prosecutor, would you bring multiple charges?
No, I don't think so. I think the prosecutor did the right thing. It's manslaughter.
Right.
I mean, there are other people that were hurt. There's 6 other people that were shot too. They could have been charges of attempted murder, attempted manslaughter, that type of thing. But let me put on the defense attorney hat now. As a practical matter, this is going to take 6 months to go through the appellate courts, probably another appeal, maybe a year. And these Crumbley parents are now in jail.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think, I don't know if I haven't seen it yet, but I'm waiting for a motion to get these people out of jail while the courts in the appellate world decide these very technical legal
Charlie,
issues.
how do they decide it without there being a trial? Isn't a trial the best way to decide if there is enough evidence to convict the parents?
I would say so. In fact, one Justice, Bernstein, kind of wanted that trial on this issue. But the court is saying, listen, we just don't go ahead and again, I don't want to read into the court because they just say we want an opinion on what they call the causation. Meaning, did the bad stuff that the parents did cause the deaths of these four students?
And that's not what the trial's for.
Well, that would be what the trial is for, but you got to there's a fundamental, you got to get over that little hurdle before you let it go to a jury.
Could you make a legal argument that the answer to that question, Charlie, is yes, because they bought the kid a gun who was underage?
If that's the only case, just because I buy my kid a gun, I think they're going to kill 4 people? I don't know the answer.
I'm asking the question. Yeah.
But see, you got to be, now in a trial, beyond a reasonable doubt.
Yeah, right.
Just because I buy a minor a gun, here, take the gun. I mean, that may be a bad example.
Yeah,
if I give the kid the gun.
Right.
This kid maybe, we don't know. At your point, a trial would bring out a lot more facts.
Yeah, bring out some specifics.
And we don't know that. And that
Right.
may be what the Court of Appeals says. But again, we are talking, if I'm the defense attorney, I think they just got a victory. If I'm the prosecutor, I got to go back and regroup a little bit here.
Is there anything, because this is such a big issue. Yesterday we had the 1-year anniversary of 4 young people's lives being affected, and countless others who were also affected on that day. Could this set up to be a precedent case as well in terms of, we see these threats every day now?
Yes.
And so now is the time for these parents out there to talk to your kids.
Listen, give the prosecutor, Karen McDonald, some credit here. I'm not making any opinion one way or another how the court's going to rule, but we've got everybody that I've talked to over this last year, everyone says the parents are responsible. The parents have some responsibility. Now, I don't know if it's criminal responsibility, but some responsibility. So your question, is this legally precedent setting? Yes. Is this going to maybe create some duty on the part of the parents because your kid is involved maybe in something the kid shouldn't be about? The parents have a duty, and then the school has a duty to tell the parents. And I think we're going to see more of that because of this Oxford case.
We have seen
Send a message,
in Wayne County, we have seen Tim Worthy prosecute parents or gun owners who allow children to come upon their weapons.
Absolutely.
And the child is pulling the trigger, but the adult gun owner has been charged.
Get ready. You know what? You look at your kid's social media, and the kid is social media said, I'm going to blow up the school. Wait a minute, parents. It's your computer, right? You're paying the bill for it, right? Get ready. We're seeing it now. I think we're going to see a lot more of parents' responsibility in the future because of that.
We will take a quick break and be right back with more Charlie. All right, we are back with more of the verdict.
IRS coming after not
me,
Charlie.
Not me. I paid my taxes. I paid plenty of taxes. Me and the IRS, we are on good terms.
Hitting forward Detroit Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick with a
big
massive
contributor.
bill. Plus, the city of Detroit hit with a lawsuit over ShotSpotter technology. Charlie, let's start with Kwame here.
Well, I don't think that this is that big of a surprise. But the Detroit News did a little research. They found out that the ex-mayor owes $634,000 worth of back taxes. And the years that are represented, 2003 to 2008, roughly the same years that he was mayor. So when he was mayor, basically either he didn't pay or underreported. There's a whole bunch of things. But the bottom line is that's the number. So the IRS now would be looking at whatever assets he has. Book sales, a house in Georgia. You can't get the house, but you can put a lien on it. So there's a whole bunch of things that the IRS can do, and they are doing it to the former mayor. He's paid not much back. In addition to taxes, don't confuse it with restitution.
Yeah.
That's the criminal ordering for what he alleged. No, it's not allegedly. He was found to have stolen from the city, about $850,000, give or take. He hasn't paid that yet. That's separate from taxes, and it's got nothing to do with former President Trump's commuting the sentence.
That was my question.
The president only got the former mayor out of jail, out of prison, but said nothing against restitution. I don't think he can do it. I probably could do it on taxes, but nothing on restitution or taxes.
So
that was
about
in
$1.5
the
million that former mayor owes the city of Detroit?
Give or take.
I got a question though. Didn't we already know all this? How is this a story? Didn't we already know he owed this money? Didn't we already know all this? How is this a story?
I agree to some. Yes, I think we did know
Like
about it.
the free press is bringing up something we already knew. He had to pay.
It's
He had to
true.
pay the city back, and yes, he had to pay the taxes.
But we didn't know that he didn't pay taxes the whole time he was mayor.
Yeah.
In jail.
Yeah, we can.
No, when he was mayor.
When he was mayor, he didn't pay the taxes on whatever money we're talking about.
Right, that's
so
true. That's what he did.
I thought we already knew that.
But I kind of said the same thing. We kind of already knew this a little bit, but now they're collecting it. Now they're going to make an effort to collect it. They're looking at his house.
So the story is that they're collecting it because he's out.
Yeah, he's out now. Yeah, he's
They
been
were
out
going to
about a year
collect
and a
it
half.
though if he was in. They were going to still try and collect it from his estate or something, right?
Yeah, but it's hard to make a lot of money when you're in
I know,
prison.
but so now that he's
that's
out, they're
true.
going for it.
And he's been out about a year
Okay.
and a half, so when I guess he hasn't made enough of an effort to pay back those taxes. We'll see.
They'll
But
come
you're
for
right.
you if
The
you don't. They'll
IRS
come
is
for you if
coming
you don't.
for you.
Oh, man.
The
They'll
IRS, they have a
come
lot
for
of
you.
resources.
Let me tell
A lot of resources.
Real quick, ShotSpotter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the ShotSpotter lawsuit, remember ShotSpotter, they're those sensors that detect gun shots, and when they detect them, it automatically sends a notice to the police department. The Detroit police chief said it's about a 13% decrease in crime in the areas that they had some ShotSpotters. Now the city council the other day approved about $8.5 million for more ShotSpotter. However, this lawsuit says the city council improperly voted. There's a rule that says you've got to give public notice within 14 days, and you've got to assess the costs, the likelihood on the community, et cetera, and allegedly the city council didn't do that, therefore vote's no good.
I thought they did it. I thought we talked about it.
They did it for
Didn't
the
do
area
it-
from before, but
Didn't
not
do
for
it
this.
enough, apparently. These are two
Okay.
public interest
There you
law
go.
firms. I think it's two of them. They're both pretty astute in what they do. So it may be a technicality.
Yeah.
If they win, I guess the city could revote, the council could revote. I mean, so let's see where this develops. But ShotSpotter, again in the news, it's still very controversial. It was only a 5-4 vote anyway
Yeah.
in the council.